then see what we can conclude here. Now, everything on these slides has a meaning. We call it futile because it's not easy to summarize about over six centuries in a presentation of about 12 minutes. That's not easy. That's why we call it futile. Everyone's familiar with this term now, the Dark Ages, and we have inferred that it was due to sheer prejudice that this age has been called the Dark Age. And we see that staggering advancements were made in every walk of life. Sciences, social sciences, environmental sciences, technology, and medicine. And this is very important. This is a minimum fact. Historians and scientists today have to say that had these people not invented and discovered the things that they discovered, we would have been about 250 to 300 years back. Some scientists call it like five centuries back, 500 years behind. And just consider this. Had Al-Jazari not converted rotary motion into linear motion, we wouldn't have been driving our cars now. I wouldn't have been able to greet you, good afternoon, good morning, had Al-Jazari not invented his clock. Now the prevalent belief, as then the social aspect, and Muslim history is barbaric. At that time there were no rights or anything, no education. Social life was almost dead, and contrary to this, we have seen that this wasn't, after all, the Dark Age. Socially, the Muslims were much ahead of all the civilizations in those times. We see advancements in environmental sciences. All the problems that we see today, all the problems that we consider today, our scientists, our historians consider today, we had solutions to all those problems back in the 8th century and afterwards. Libraries, universities, parliaments, scholarly achievements, these are the things that we consider today an integral part of society. And we had all these things during that time as well. And that's the question. That's the question. Why do we still call it Dark Age? And we see it as due to sheer prejudice. Yes, the objectives. Objectives are usually given at the start of every presentation or at the start of any research paper or anything. But we chose to give the objectives at the end due to simple reasons that viewers and spectators could actually know what the topic is, and then we can infer the objectives. The objectives enlighten the students of our roots, our ancestors, and what they created, what they gave to the world. We do not care to know that, but that's very important because people are studying our history, our heritage, and we are not aware of that. To eradicate the false propaganda against Islam and its history. Islam spread due to Muslim sword. That's the most common propaganda against the Muslims. And we'd like to refute that. To help realize their ancestors ruled more than half of the world without oil. Muslims today rule the world because they have oil. That's the common belief. And we'd like to refute this claim as well. Boost the self-confidence of the Muslim youth while also reinforcing the fact that a lot of hard work needs to be done. We know our history now. We know a bit of our history now, not the whole history, because we're not able to sum up the whole history here. If you go to Wikipedia and you write down the list of Muslim scientists, you'd see that you just keep on strolling and the list would not end. It wouldn't simply end. So a lot of hard work needs to be done today. We have realized that we had a great history, but we have to consider what our present is today and what our future will be tomorrow. This is what our objective is. Force the Muslims to evaluate themselves. Where we lack, we have to first consider ourselves. We have involved ourselves in petty issues. We are wasting ourselves. We are fighting each other. And I'm going to show you some facts in the next slide. And let's see. It would help us to evaluate. That's the comparison. In the entire Muslim world, 57 countries, there are only about 500 universities. These facts are a bit old, by the way. Could be more or less. In USA alone, there are about 5,758 universities. Literacy in the Christian world, you're able to see that, right? Literacy in the Christian world is about 90%. Literacy in the Muslim world is about 40%. 15 Christian majority countries have literacy of about 100%. And 78% of the Christian countries complete their primary education, 78% of the population. And only 50% in Muslim countries complete their primary education. 40% in Christian countries attend university. In Muslim countries, a dismal 2% attend university. And that's That's important because we are privileged that we are now attending a university. This figure right here, 2%. We are in that privileged 2% who are able to attend university, who are able to attend tertiary education. Muslim majority countries have about 230 scientists per 1 million Muslims. The USA has about 5,000 per million. Christian world technicians, 1,000 technicians per million. The entire Arab world only has 50 technicians per million. That's why we see a lot of Europeans and a lot of people and a lot of Americans today in the UAE who are trying to who went there for their bread and butter because they are more advanced. We have about 50 technicians per million. Muslim world spends on research development about 0.2% of GDP. That's what we consider the overall. Not for one country, separate countries are different, but overall, if you consider, it's about 0.2%. Christian world spends 5%. And I would say that it's a bit, it could be more than 5% now. Not less, but more. Pakistan, 23 daily newspapers per 1,000 citizens. Singapore has 460 per 1,000 citizens. In UK, book titles per million is 2,000. In Egypt, book titles per million is only 17. Now, we'd like to show you all the video. I do understand we have exceeded our time, but video is very important and it's going to clarify a lot of things.